Greetings, YouTube. The United States of America has more people incarcerated than any other nation on the planet. We have approximately 2.2 million Americans currently in jail, prison system, and approximately 7.7 million Americans that are under some kind of supervision of that prison system, on parole, probation, things like that. And one of the main reasons we have so many people involved in this process is the war on some drugs. I say some drugs because it's not a war on all drugs. Now, one of the ideas behind the war on some drugs is that you want to save American lives. A laudable goal. I think the war on some drugs is a misguided effort. But if you were really concerned about American lives, you would then make sure that the two drugs that are actually killing the most Americans, tobacco and alcohol, were on that list. But those two drugs are perfectly legal. Tobacco kills more Americans every year than household accidents, car accidents, murder, and drug overdoses combined. And yet no one bats an eye at it. In fact, enough people die in America every single day because of tobacco to be the equivalent of two 747s smacking each other head-on mid-flight. And no one bats an eye. Now, one of the things that most people don't know about those 2.2 million Americans that are currently rotting in prison, for the most part, many of them pointlessly, is that 90% of them never had a trial. They never went to trial. They never had a jury hear their case. Nothing. They all took plea bargains. Because the court system is set up to want to give them plea bargains. Because the court system is not set up to handle the volume of cases that it would need to handle if every single person in America that was ever arrested for anything asked for their constitutionally guaranteed day in court. But they aren't. They are told that we'll give you this sweetheart deal if you take it now, but if you go to trial, you might risk going to prison 3 or 4 times longer. They don't mention the fact that if they go to trial, they could also walk away scot-free. Yeah, they neglect that part. Now, if every American that's arrested were to insist upon their constitutionally guaranteed trial, the legal system would collapse. It would just disintegrate. There aren't enough courtrooms, enough judges, enough lawyers, bailiffs, nothing. The system could not survive under the strain of all those people asking for their legally guaranteed day in court. So, I'm advocating that you do that. Ever get arrested? Ask for your day in court. What do you have to lose? Because if enough people do this, if enough people step up and say, no, I want my trial, maybe we'll realize that arresting people for pointless laws, for things that harm no one, maybe isn't a good idea. Maybe we'll realize that the war on some drugs is misguided, and we should be heading into a different direction. Handling the issue of drug addiction as a medical condition and not a criminal one. Because that's what it is. Addiction is a medical issue. It is not a criminal issue. And there are lots of Americans that are addicts to the two most common drugs I just mentioned, tobacco and alcohol, of course. But there are many others out there. So why don't we start taking care of the problem, people addicted to chemicals, and treating them as a medical issue, which is what it is, instead of criminalizing these people's lives and throwing them to a system that will destroy their entire future. A system that cannot actually do the job it's supposed to do if everyone would just say, I want a trial.